Hello everyone, I'm Exodia, and today we're doing a sequel to our placement system. We're making the second part in the series. We're going to be expanding upon it, making it to where you can rotate your model, cancel placement, as well as refining the code overall a little bit. So as you can see in our GUI, we have a new info GUI, a new frame for our info. This will basically display the keybinds when you're placing your furniture piece of your choice or tower for your tower defense game. We have our button here like usual, our chair model in the replicated storage, and our remote event over here, as well as our local script inside of our GUI and our server script inside of server script service. Some things that we did change between videos is that I made it so where the clone chair is equal to nil to get rid of some problems with the script, as well as in the server script, we're making a folder, as I found that when placing multiple chairs, there would be an error with this if statement that would prevent you from being able to place multiple chairs. So currently, the system is working where if we go into our game, then we can click on the button, and this tends to be an error that we get with mouse.move because of how fast it triggers. Now, for now, we can ignore this, as the system will work fine. The error has no impact apart from the fact that mouse.move may trigger before we have the clone and cause some issues for us. But the placement system will work for now. Eventually, we'll have that resolved to where when using the placement system, there won't be any errors. But for now, we will get on to making a snap for like a grid system that you want. So we'll go into our local script and make a brand new variable for local grid size. And I'm going to set this to 1. Now what this grid size variable will be used for is that it's how many studs we want to move every time we move the mouse. So here I have it on 1. In fact, I'll do 0.25 studs to move. And then we will make we'll make some functions up here. One of them will be called local function snap. And then we will pass, position X, position Y, and position Z is our parameters. And so what we'll do is we will set local xpose equal to math.floor. And if you don't know what math.floor does, it will return a larger. It basically will round up or round down in your number. So we'll do math.floor position x divided by our grid size variable. And then we'll add 0.5 so we can round the number. And then we will multiply it by our grid size. And then we can do the same thing for position y. Math.floor position y divided by grid size plus 0.5 multiplied by our grid size. And then we can just copy paste this and do this for our Z position. And then afterwards, we can we can also pass the clone chair as a parameter. And then we will set the primary part C frame of our clone model. We'll set that to cframe.new X position, Y position, Y pose, and then Z pose. So there we go. We could have it like that, and it'll basically, in our snap function set, actually we'll return. Do we want to I'm not sure if I want to set the position here, or return the positions, or return them as a vector or something. No, we'll set the position there. We'll set it there. And then what we will do now is also make a function for local function set angle. Or we'll make a rotate. We'll make a function for rotate left. And so what this will do, we'll pass the clone chair. Oh yeah, one thing that we'll also need before actually doing any of this is we'll need a user input service, local user input service, which if you're unaware with what user input service does, it allows you to track if a player presses or releases a key, so that we can basically kind of like make key binds. So we'll get user input service. If you did not watch my tutorial on that, I recommend it. I talk about quite a few things and quite a few of the functions you can use it for. So we'll also even inside of this function, we'll do, before our return, we'll remove the return for now, and then we'll do user input service dot input began colon connect function, and then we'll have input and game processed as our parameters. And we'll do if input dot key code equals enum dot key code dot x, then, and this will get when we press the X key, we'll set, we will destroy the clone chair colon destroy, placing will be equal to false. I will also set that info frame dot visible to false, because we'll set the info frame to visible here. Info frame dot visible equals true. And then, yeah, that'll be good for now. For that, we'll have in here user input service dot input began colon connect function. And we'll do if input game processed, if input dot key code equals enum dot key code dot we'll do q, then we will call our rotate left function, rotate left, and then we'll pass the clone chair as our parameter. Then we'll just copy and paste this, make a function for rotating right, so local function rotate right, clone chair, and then we'll make it if we press E that triggers. And so what we'll do here is set, so we'll set the primary part C frame equal to, so C frame dot new clone chair. So actually we'll do clone chair dot primary part C frame dot primary part dot C frame, and then we'll multiply this by C frame dot angles, and then 0 math dot rad, I believe we could do -90, and that should work. This should multiply our angle and then turn it to the left 90 degrees, and then we could do 90 here. And let's actually make sure this is right. So we'll actually pass mouse dot hit instead, and then just mouse C frame, and then we'll do mouse C frame dot position in our server script, just so that we're passing a vector. Actually, wait, we could probably set it to mouse C frame. Let's actually test this out to make sure everything's going to work. I believe this is going to work on the top, off the top of my head. Okay, yeah. So we can press Q. But there is an issue. We have them. Oh, God. Okay, so I know what happened there. Because we have to set this to mouse C frame dot position, and these we gotta reverse them because this is rotating it the opposite direction. These are just rotating the opposite direction that we want. So we'll just reverse those and then go back and test it again. So as you can see, we're rotating it right when we press E, and then rotating to the left when we press Q. It's a little buggy. We'll just pass. Okay, we're just making that complicated then. When we fire the event, we'll just pass mouse dot hit dot position still. This is just unnecessary. Only thing is, I think we need to make another variable, or I think we also need to pass the rotation of the chair. Otherwise, I will cast vector 3 to. Oh wait, C frame doesn't. I'm dumb. Yeah, maybe that's why it didn't work the first time. There we go. So this should work, but if our rotation is not being carried over, yeah, okay, so we're gonna also need to pass the rotation. So we can do, we'll pass, so we have our mouse position, our chair name. We'll make a new parameter, and we'll call it, so clone chair dot primary part dot orientation. And so that is going to be a vector 3. So this should pass as chair so this should pass as object rotation. And then what we can do afterwards is we can set the clone object clone set primary part C frame, and then just like in the client, how we're rotating it and setting it to the same position but just multiplying by the angle, we'll do that. So we'll do clone object dot primary part dot C frame, and then we will multiply it by object rotation instead, and then we'll see how that works out. Orientation. So I figured out the issue, and it was a little simple mistake. So what I ended up doing is we were just multiplying it by object rotation, However, we didn't truly have an angle that we can multiply it by. We were just multiplying it by a vector 3 in a sense, as if we were like adjusting position, when in reality we're trying to adjust rotation. So what we could do is cframe.angles, and all we need is the y rotation to rotate it on that axis. So we'll do 0, comma math.rad, and then we'll pass object rotation.y. This will get the y-axis of our object's rotation, because this is still a vector 3, you gotta remember. So we can just do object rotation.y to get the y value of the vector, and then pass 0 as our z, and then that'll set the rotation to be what we had in our placement systems in the client. So if we do that, we can place chairs at whatever rotation we please. The only thing would be that we need to make it to where that the rotation is like still okay. I know what the issue is. I know why we're not keeping our rotation, because I was about to be like, we gotta fix that, and I think I know what the problem there is that what we want to do is here we want to set the clone chair dot position as well as clone chair multiply by cframe dot angles 0 math dot rad, and then we'll do clone chair dot primary part dot orientation dot y, and then 0, and then we'll just do that. So then we should be able to, yeah, okay, so our rotation's kept. That was a silly issue on my part. I apologize for that. Now, just for now, ignore the errors that we're getting down here. They're mainly caused because we're destroying the clone chair, and mouse.move will always be running once we start it. So then we're it's still trying to calculate the position, even though we don't have a clone chair to set the position to, so that's why we're getting this error, so you don't have to worry about it. And then the last thing we would need to fix is just make sure that when we're placing our chair, that the info frame dot visible is being set to false, so that it no longer displays. And then we can also check to make sure that when we press X, that we're going to be finishing our placement and that it won't keep placing. So if we just press X, then everything disappears. We'll get that error because we're deleting the chair. In the third part, I'll work on polishing and fixing up these errors, making sure that our code doesn't get that issue. But yeah, so now we have some more customization inside of our placement system. We have it to where we can rotate our model both left and right with the press of a key on our keyboard, as well as we can cancel the placement with a key on our keyboard. And then we also have that rotation maintaining, and then we can also customize the amount of studs that we want to move our part when we're trying to find a good spot for it. So if we put that to 1, and as you that should move on a grid type. Oh wait. I know what's going on. So we'll have to actually, instead of doing this, so what we'll do is we'll multiply this by clone chair. I almost actually forgot about making it to where we can call the snap function, so that works. So it's a good thing I caught myself there, but so we'll do the primary, so cframe dot, actually we could just copy and paste this. And so what we'll do is, instead of setting the clone chair, we'll just call the snap function and pass mouse.hit.position.x, mouse.hit.position.y, and then mouse.hit.position.z. And then basically this will allow us to customize our grid size and make it to where we can move on those different like scales. So this can customize how much you want to move. So as you, oh wait. Oh wait, I know what's going on. I know what's going on here. We need to set this as a vector. X pose, Y pose, Z pose. If I'm correct, that should be good now. Should be good to go. Okay, so I've been making a lot of little basic mistakes this video, and I really apologize for that, but the problem that we've encountered here was a pretty elementary one, and it's that I forgot to pass the clone chair as the parameter in the snap function. So that's been happening a lot, but anyways, now this should work fully. So yeah, it's moving 0.25. You can see it's kind of like jittery almost. Then we can make this, 1, and then test it. And if we click, yeah, you can notice it's definitely 1 if we move it slow. So yeah, that's part 2 of the placement system. We have a grid system that we made. And then we made it to where you can rotate the model to the left and right 90 degrees each time we press a key. You can also cancel it once again. Just going over everything. Wasn't really much that we had to edit on the server side. Most of it's the client side. But yeah, this is part 2 of the placement system, coupled with quite a bit of simple mistakes. But we got the tutorial out there, and it's all finished and ready. So yeah, hopefully this helped you guys. Part 3 will be also making sure that we could fix that error. Probably, I think there's some ways that we could just make it, because it just looks ugly going in our output when really our code is working fine. We don't need to get those errors when we destroy the clone model. So yeah, next week we will fix that. But yeah, once again, if you found the video helpful, like and subscribe. It really helps me out and keeps me motivated to keep making these videos. Also, comment any critiques or confusion you have in the video, as it just helps me make better tutorials, and I also want to make sure that I can help you guys get everything working properly. So yeah, see ya.